I can't tell if you can see this, but why?
Welcome to our 2013 Ceiling Movie Review.
Watch movies there.
You can see our screen captures that we take every night if you follow me on Instagram, Daniela Rama.
You can see all the butt captures I make at the truck stops if you follow me around in the real life. So we're gonna tell you. Okay, so we found 10 movies of all like the 50-something movies that we watched so far this half of a year, because we just got it a half a year ago, and we picked 10 movies. But these, of course, aren't. They're like we saw like Total Recall and stuff like that on the ceiling that we've seen a million times.
Yeah, there was some stuff that were like everybody's seen that, so we don't even need to include it.
We're gonna show you the movies that you might not know are good, or you might not know exist, or you might know exist but you don't realize are good. So these are our top 10 ceiling movies that you may or may not have heard about.
Of 2013.
We have Abby.
This was good.
That's it. Abby is a blaxploitation film that was lost for a very long time until the film resurfaced in the ghetto.
Okay, I'm not sure what counts or classifies something as blaxploitation, because I don't know if it's if it means that it's a type of, that this is a movie for white people to watch about black people, or if this is a movie that black people actually enjoyed. I would hope that it was a movie that black people actually enjoyed, but I don't know because I'm not a black person, so I can't make that call. But
I hope black people don't enjoy anything.
There is one part where this guy is like, her husband, who's just been put through the ringer by her because she's possessed, needs to get a car to go and get her, and he stops this old white lady driving down the street, and he's like, I need to borrow your car, and she's like, okay. I thought, that wouldn't happen. In a dream world, it could happen, but that wouldn't happen.
This is the Blaxorcist, is what it should have been called. There's a part in the movie where she kicks her husband in the nuts. In like when she jumps upon the bed like an animal, and then she just kicks him like full on in the nuts, and he's just the whole time begging her, please stop, please don't do this. And so the thing that we transitioned from this movie, so there's this really cool dude in it, and he's this like archaeologist, and he was very smooth, and it turns out that he is Blackula, which
he's also the king of cartoons.
He's the king of cartoons, which may or may not be in another movie that we have in our top 10 list, but that's Abby. It's good.
It's watchable. It's
quite watchable. Next up is Forbidden Zone.
That's a weird one. And I think this is the colorized version. A long time ago we had the black and white version, and I wasn't as interested in watching it.
This movie is crazy good.
I'm older now and I can appreciate it.
Fans of Oingo Boingo already know what this movie is. It's a musical. It's got Danny Elfman in it. Look, he's the devil. His brother made it. It's totally insane.
It's got Edmund McMillan was in it.
Yep, there's me right there. Back when I was a child.
It's me.
Yeah. It's a good movie, and the music is quite listenable. I actually downloaded the soundtrack.
It's illegally. Like a less weird, who's that fucking guy? The guy, Willard?
Damn it.
Crispin Glover. It's like a less weird Crispin Glover with good music.
Yeah.
If you wanted that comparison.
Forbidden Zone. Colorized version. Be there.
Next we have Ben and Arthur.
Ben and Arthur. So...
Oh my god, this movie was... This guy should get... the little guy down there, he should get an Academy Award.
This is the thing that they don't understand, though. So this whole time I'm thinking, where's this hunk? This guy's actually like 5 foot tall in the movie. You would think he's tiny. This guy's way tiny. But he looks like such a hunk.
Yeah, and I googled him too, and he was in Playgirl. But I don't know if he's really gay, but I think he's gay. Is this a gay exploitation movie?
No, well, it could be, I guess, but it's made by It's made by gay folk.
But what about, we don't know if this was a black person that made this.
No, I don't identify races. So, this movie, the basic synopsis of this movie is there's this guy right here who made the movie. You can compare this situation, this whole setup is very roomy. Tommy Wiseau roomy. So this guy, this was his idea, and they decided to make this movie. It's extremely low budget, and it's essentially about how him and his partner are together and they want to legalize gay marriage, but this guy's brother, who is clearly gay.
Oh my god. He is like a stereotypical, maybe like late 90s gay guy with bleached hair that maybe has been living with HIV for 10 years.
He looks like he's been going to raves and doing lots of meth. But in this movie, he is a Christian, like crazy Christian person who gets kicked out of his church because this guy, his brother, is gay and trying to get gay married. So in order to get back in the church, the pastor tells him that he needs to kill his brother or his brother's lover.
Yeah, like a Christian.
Like a Christian would. I think they try to burn down a house at some point. I can't really remember. There's a really odd, mildly sexual scene at the end where he's like, yeah, fuck me. And he's like bending over like all seductively to his brother.
He also wears, I'm not sure what year this was made. This little guy.
2004.
Yeah, okay. This little guy down here. I mean, he'd be over the moon if he got this guy. I mean,
well, I'm pretty sure he cast this guy as his love interest purely to get close to him.
He wears like loose, weird shirts, loose shorts, and then socks and sandals.
Yeah.
Through the whole thing. Also, if you watch this, you will.
There are random murders. There are random murders that happen in the film that they never discuss. You know, oh yeah, they just kill this person randomly and they don't explain why or what the hell's going on. It's really good. It's extremely watchable, and now after talking about it, I want to watch it again. I recommend this movie to all of my fellow bears.
I never noticed there's a guy standing back there.
That's him with the gun. I don't know why he has the gun though, because he's not the one that does that. But whatever.
Next up, G.G. Allin, Hated.
I'm sure some of you know who G.G. Allin is. Some of you don't. Hated is a quite a good documentary that showcases the last few months of his life. G.G. Allin was a man who made music. His dad named him Jesus Christ, and I think that pretty much sums it up.
They lived in a cabin with no electricity, so I mean, he's not a good guy, but at least he never killed anyone, is all I can say.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure he gave a lot of people AIDS, but he's essentially...
He could have been a serial killer.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
He gets on stage, and he shits on the ground, and he eats it, and he spits it at the audience while punching them in the face. He advocates rape and, you know, just...
At his shows.
Destruction.
Right? All the time?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah. He breaks his teeth out and smashes his face and then eventually dies. Spoiler alert, he dies.
We had already seen this on
This is an old favorite. This is
this came out in 93. So we had already seen this on VHS a long time ago. But then we got his this book that his brother put out, who's normal or not like him.
Not like him.
And it was letters about him from prison, and it was just kind of like very sad. It was hard to like look at him and really take this seriously.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not like when I was younger, I was really afraid of the idea of him, and it's not like I like him now, but he's more of just a character.
Yeah, as much as you can say that this was a character he played, he did play this character. He wasn't doing this off stage for the most part, but you know. It's still a very interesting documentary about rock and roll taken to the extreme and an artist that takes his work to his grave. I would actually also recommend, if you like this one, look up Bob Flanagan, Super Sadomasochist. I think it's called Sick. Also really, really good movie. Better than this movie, actually.
Oh,
good very interesting, also kind of obscure, hard to find
We
documentary.
can do a whole documentary thing. You can't just
All right,
throw in
next
stuff.
one. Next one. All right, next up is one we watched recently. It's called Good Burger. You probably never heard of it.
I think this came
This
out...
guy's dead. He's not dead, but everybody says he's dead.
This must have came out when I was about 13 in 1997, around the same time as Spice Girls, which I saw, but this would have been not cool enough for me to see.
This movie was incredibly entertaining.
It was so funny. I never even watched all that, so I didn't even know what these characters were.
No, yeah. The creepiest part of the movie, though, would be the fact that when we were looking up who made this movie, the first result was that he...
Well, wait, what happened was, anytime I see somebody that's like 400 pounds, I like to look them up and see if they're still alive.
You search their name plus nude results.
I like to see if they're still alive. So I looked up this guy who plays their boss. Let's see, what is his name?
I don't remember. He produced the movie.
So you can look him up. And
he's the producer of a bunch of, like...
Dan Schneider. So I look him up, and the first thing that comes up is, paid for Amanda Bynes' abortion, is the father of Jamie Lynn Spears' baby. Basically, he's like a huge pedophile and is... Ugh.
There's
so
also...
much. There's nothing worse than a 400-pound pedophile.
A 500-pound pedophile?
Yeah.
The other interesting part in the movie was there was a part that obviously should have been played by Amanda Bynes.
Yeah, so weird.
But it was actually played by the girl from Freaks and
Linda
Geeks.
Cardellini, a brown-haired girl.
She looked just like her, except she was batshit crazy and she was
she's
a girl in a mental
institution.
institution.
How funny would that have been?
She was too busy aborting her pedophile baby spawn to be in Good Burger, which is why we recommend Good Burger as the movie of the day. No, this is very funny. This movie is stupid funny.
It was Carmen Electra's in it.
It is...
Sinbad is in it.
It makes me wonder where that guy went.
Who's
he must have
that?
died.
Shaquille O'Neal's in it. Grey Garden.
This is probably one of the movies that all you hip kids have already seen.
Yeah, and when they were like, oh, we've seen it before. Not this fancy Criterion collection that we have now.
Yeah, we rented this ages ago, and it is an incredibly interesting documentary. Danielle is more articulate when it comes to exactly who the people are and what's it about. What's it about?
Oh, great. And a mama.
I believe that Little and Big Edie are the descendants, the cousins of Jackie O.
Yeah.
So they came from like a wealthy family, and they set them up in this giant mansion called Grey.
I think this
Grey
might have been their
Gardens.
childhood home in the Hamptons.
And essentially,
Yeah.
It's basically the first episode of Hoarders.
Yes. Oh my god.
So you've got like a dilapidated house, dilapidated. We'll cut that out. The dilapidated house full of like raccoons, and they just basically document these two very interesting women who are extremely eccentric.
She comes out and she really reminds me of myself at about 14. Just dressing up.
She always has a new cool outfit on. Yeah.
Dancing.
Hitting on the boys.
Yeah, flirting.
She's hilarious. She may or may not have hair.
Okay, so I just got a book in the mail about
You get to see her mother's boobs.
We got this book of pictures like curated by her family, and her writing, just even from when she was little, like she was clearly a genius, but as you know, sometimes geniuses are.
It's good though.
Yeah, this is definitely. This might make some people uncomfortable, but.
Oh yeah, but Baited wouldn't. This is the most comfortable of all the movies.
In a different way, it might make you feel weird or sad.
If you're a drag queen, you already seen this movie like a million times. All right, so this is one of my favorite movies of the year, and this is one that we haven't seen before. It's called Undefeatable, and I'd seen a fight scene from this movie. It was one of the final fight scenes, and I saw it on YouTube, and it was one of those...
And if you guys watch this, then you might recognize, like, you might have seen a gif of it.
Yeah. It was one of those things like, what movies did this come from? It looks amazing. I need to see it, because it looks just insane.
Yeah, the guy is, like, intense. He has a Jerry curl.
Yeah, it came from Undefeatable, and it's essentially the story of this cool chick who kicks ass, but it's really more the story of this lunatic with a Jerry curl whose wife, like, who he would forcibly rape whenever he got home, even though she was totally down with it. He wasn't down with it unless she wasn't down with it. Like she
was trying to make him happy, and then he was just like took it too
He's
far.
like, ugh! So she leaves him, and then he just fucking loses his mind. And I can't remember what his wife's name was, but he would just go around, and if he'd see a woman who looked remotely like her, he would say, whatever, we'll call her Shelly. Shelly, you bitch! Get back here!
Yeah,
and then he'd gouge out her eyes.
And then since they're it's interesting too, because since they're filming in Singapore, like most, or Hong Kong, most everyone else is Asian. There's just like randomly white people sprinkled in.
Yeah, that are the actors. It was good.
Well, like the guy who he gouges the eyes out of, the girl that looks like his girlfriend, he's Asian. He's
incredibly watchable. He goes after this girl's sister, and she has to protect her. She kicks ass. This got us on a whole kick of all of her action movies.
Yeah.
Which were, what was the
Rage and
Honor. Rage and Honor and Rage and Honor 2 and a bunch of other ones which were all almost as watchable. This one was just like, had too many insane parts in it. It's very, if you've seen Deadly Prey, it's kind of Deadly Prey-ish. But
better
more
quality.
Better quality,
Ugh.
a bit more like batshit crazy when it comes to the killer guy and just the overall theme and how things go. It's really good.
I couldn't watch a movie like this if there's a high budget. This had a high budget. Deadly Prey is something that's hard for me to watch because it's so hideous.
You watched Ben and Arthur, and there was no budget on that.
That is different.
It has to be gay. Next up.
Yeah. Next up, we have Blackula. And we had heard... I've always heard of Blackula, but then when we were watching Abby, and I realized, oh, William Marshall. Oh, William Marshall is king of cartoons. What else has he done? Blackula. I'm like, we gotta see Blackula.
The king of cartoons is Blackula. You'd never know it, but it's true. So both of these movies...
He's like a classically trained actor.
I like Blackula more than I like Scream Blackula Scream, even though Scream Blackula Scream had its moments. And has Pam Grier in it. The first movie was smooth as silk. Mm-hmm. You couldn't get any fucking cooler than the dudes and the women in this movie. They were damn cool. The music was cool. The cuts were cool. Everything they did was fucking cool. The lighting was dramatic and awesome. And I wanted to be every dude in this movie.
Yeah,
and I wanted to do every girl. The ladies were mighty fine looking.
This would be a good movie to show people to convince black people to go back to having natural hair.
Seriously,
it's a good look.
It is a good look. I would have an afro. Danielle points out the guy that I would be.
Yeah, you'll see him. He's part of the. If you watch this, he's part of the band, and he is wearing just a brown leather vest.
I don't understand. The natural hair looks fucking awesome. I don't know why.
I know, and then with sideburns too.
It's a good look. That movie's fucking cool, and the second one has its moments as well. I would highly recommend Blackula.
The second one has a guy that looks like Prince.
That's true. This is a pack, so this is one of them.
This is a pack, but what I think the best one on here was Prince of Darkness.
Well, the best one that would... So, the Prince of Darkness is probably one of the only John Carpenter movies I've ever seen.
It has the thing in They Live. Okay.
Yeah, because They Live is amazing.
So if you haven't seen They Live, see They Live.
Well, see all of John Carpenter's movies, because all of his early movies are really, really good.
I don't really like Village of the Damned.
It was alright. It had its moments. But, so, Prince of Darkness was the one that I'd never seen. I'd never even heard of. I had it recommended a few times, and it was just one of the movies of his that we never saw.
The concept was so interesting, and it was, without being scary, it was creepy. Like, the idea of it disturbed me. And
then, if you're familiar with Big Trouble in Little China, there was a lot. I think it must have been around the same time when he made it, because
there were a lot of actors.
People. Yeah, a lot of actors from Big Trouble in Little China are in it, and it was just like super fucking weird. And it's about like the devil being reborn, and controlling like a shitload of homeless people. Like all the homeless people are being like controlled,
you
and everybody
just gotta watch it.
everybody has the same fucking weird dream where
Yeah.
there's like this communication that's being
If
broadcast
they're
from
in the
Satan's
certain
thing.
vicinity of being able to pick up on the transmission, and Alice Cooper's in it,
Yeah, Alice Cooper's like the lead bum.
and also
The gore's really good.
the main guy is played by Kurt Russell's nipple.
Is that fact?
Yeah,
Is that on, did you get that off the IMDb?
I thought yeah.
If you like John Carpenter's movies or horror movies in general, or 80s horror movies, which we like a lot, I highly recommend Prince of Darkness.
And if you haven't seen They Live, see They Live.
They Live in Big Trouble in Little China are my favorites of his. But this one is a diamond in the rough. I'm surprised I'd never seen it. And that's that one. Alright, last but not least of the top 10 of our favorites would be a recent movie that we saw on our blaxploitation kick. This one is called The Mac.
Which is probably one of the most well-known, and I didn't realize, is like his voice is sampled in tons of songs. And
if you listen to any old gangster rap, is constantly fucking referencing this movie. Like every damn aspect of this movie is being sampled, referenced, and quoted.
I don't understand why people think he's so cool, because he's not attractive. Ed told me, when we were going to watch the movie, Ed goes, I think it's a white guy painted black. He's fucking weird looking.
He's a
not
strange
handsome.
looking dude. I was thrown by the fact that Richard Pryor was in the movie, and I thought it was going to be a comedy.
Yeah, and
He's fucking hilarious
He's
in this
funny.
movie, though. He ad-libs like almost all of his scenes, and he was definitely a memorable character.
Ooh, and the girl from Abby's in it, and she's
good too.
She's a good actress.
So this movie is essentially like, if you could imagine, it's kind of like Goodfellas, but from the perspective of like a pimp. Like he like rises up from a guy who dealt drugs for a living, who went to jail and then wanted to like rebel against this drug lord guy his own way. So he's doing it, the old school way of being a pimp and being a Mac.
Except his brother the whole time is trying to make the community better and trying to not let people enslave people, and don't then go and enslave your women.
It's a really interesting movie. It's really, really well done. Very good.
I thought at some point he's gonna like be good. He's bad the whole time. I don't understand why.
Ain't It Cool News says this film is as cool as can be. I would say that Blackula is much cooler.
Yeah, and
but
also
this
Blackula's way better looking. I'm telling you, go look at this movie and tell me if you think this guy is attractive. He's not.
He's not the Mac I expected.
He's also a classically trained actor. So unfortunate. Hello to black classically trained actors. You can play a pimp and you can play a black vampire.
Well, technically Blackula was like a fucking the Prince of Africa before Dracula turned him
It's
into.
still not like a serious role.
But remember in Scream Blackula, Scream, when he like confronts the pimps on the street and says,
That was awesome.
You're still slaves. You enslave your women and you're slaves to yourselves. And then I think he kills them. It was good. The Mac's great though. It's actually totally not even like a campy movie in the slightest, like Blackula is. It's definitely way more dramatic. It's the closest thing I've seen to like a Goodfellas, like a ghetto-y version of Goodfellas, like rising up in the ghetto and being a pimp.
I just thought there was gonna be a turn at the end, and there wasn't.
Don't spoil it.
Don't expect him to be good. He's a pimp.
It's good. The movie's good. Yeah. All right. Now beyond the top 10, we both had two movies that we thought we really liked a lot, and that would have been in our top 10, but we couldn't agree on them being in the top 10.
You can't have put 14 movies in top 10.
Nope, doesn't work. So we decided that we were going to have the top two picks that we didn't agree were in the top 10 that we liked.
Yeah, because his two are horrible.
They're not at all. You go first then.
Okay. Mine are just good watchable movies that have a high production value. And so this is Dolly Dearest. This family, they sell everything. They move to Mexico. He buys a doll factory sight unseen. There's also an archaeologist who's Rip Torn, and I think somebody unleashes something, and the spirit goes in the doll, and then it's horrible.
It's some, like, demon spawn thing.
So, I like these type of movies.
It's super Chucky.
Yeah, my uncle took me to see Chucky when I was 3. It ruined my childhood, and I love toys and dolls, but I'm still kind of think they're gonna come alive at night. These type of things can scare me. It also, I don't know who this is, but somebody's name is Sam Bottoms. Okay.
I would agree that it's actually really good. I mean, it's one of it's a keeper.
Look how Chucky her face gets.
It's a perfect 80s, Chucky ripoff. It's good.
Okay, and then the other one is It's Pat. And I hadn't seen this since I was probably 10.
I hadn't ever seen it, and
I think I saw it in the theater. I liked this character when I was little on Saturday Night Live, but going back and watching it now is really hilarious. And if you're on the internet or you're on Twitter,
you'll know why.
You'll know why.
But that fun fact, this was Ween's big breakout. I don't know. Role. They are the band that she wants to be a part of. Oh, I guess I spoiled it. I spoiled it.
She doesn't actually identify.
But
Ween's in this.
All right, and my favorites that aren't super well known are Extro. I love this movie.
I don't even remember it.
It's so good. It's so weird. Okay, so the internet might know this movie because of a animated GIF and or video you've seen online of this weird thing walking backwards off the street. It's a freaky looking thing, and it's like it's like walking backwards across a road when someone's driving. And it's essentially the story of this. I'll try to sum it up. In the beginning of the movie, this guy gets abducted by aliens, and his kid sees it, but he's the only witness to it. And his mother doesn't believe that he got abducted by aliens. He thinks he just split.
I keep thinking this is Mac and Me. That's all I can see in my head.
No, but that is also a good one. But, so what happens is, years pass. The dad comes back as in the form of this bizarre, freaky looking alien that you can kind of see on the back here.
I must have blocked this out.
And he like feeds off of people and like he's all deformed, and he goes in this woman's house, and I think he like rapes her and impregnates himself inside of her. How do you know
that he identifies as a he?
Well, because he turns into a man. So, and then he births himself. So a grown man comes out of this rape baby woman. Cis male comes out, and he's all whole again, but the thing is he's still kind of like an alien, and then he goes back home, and the woman's already started over, and there's a new man in the house, and then it's really awkward, but I'll just go into saying that, like,
awkward.
that at a certain point in the movie, he sucks on his son's like shoulder, and the shoulder turns into...
not get to that word fast enough.
It turns into like a nipple, and then the kid gets special powers.
What?
Yeah, he gets special powers, and then like summons a little midget to like dance around with him, and then he turns one of his action figures into a soldier to go and kill the woman downstairs because the woman killed his snake. It's really good.
I was laying right here, and I remembered none of this.
I heard the second movie sucks. We haven't watched it yet, but I really like Extro. It's so weird. I believe it's British. But yeah, it's a treat, especially if you like weird, like special effects kind of monstery movies that are crazy disjointed and odd. I like that one. And my other one is another classic. If you were my age and you had USA and watched USA Up All Night, this movie was on a lot, especially during Halloween. It's Motel Hell.
A child of the 80s? And
I'd never seen the uncensored version of this. This movie is funny. Meat's meat and a man's gotta eat.
Oh, now I remember it.
It's about a family, and this one kind of reminds me of my sister. Definitely a Macmillan. That's for sure. And they own like a meatpacking plant. It's very like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it's way more campy. It's funny. And they bury these. They essentially like rig the roads so passersby come by and they pop their tires. They get an accident and then they like cripple the people, bury them into the ground, bury them into the ground up to their neck. They cut out their voice box and they plant them there so they can like I don't know, ferment or they can.
I think so. Their bodies can get really soft. They're like vealizing them.
Yeah, and then they cut the heads off and they harvest them and they make jerky and stuff with them. It's a good one.
I'm hungry.
I like that one. That was one of my personal favorites. Okay, and finally, we are going to go down the list of the 3 by far worst movies, and these aren't worst as in like you should see them because they're so bad they're good.
They're fucking horrible.
These are really just bad.
Hard to watch.
Very hard to watch. Yeah, we didn't finish one of these actually, and we can start with that one. Okay, this one's called Wonton Baby. I bought this.
This must have been bad because one of these other ones I didn't want to finish, and you held to it.
I'm remembering a lot of this now, and it's totally insane. I kind of want to finish it. So, maybe I'm wrong on this one, and we were just in a horrible mood and couldn't finish it, because as I remember the synopsis of this movie, it seems quite watchable, but it was pretty painful to watch. But it was only like a few bucks at Fry's, and it's called Wonton Baby, and there's like an alien hand coming out.
This and one of our other ones that's on this list, I can't explain it. It's in the same vein as a bad trauma movie. Like,
yes,
it's just bad.
It's pretty awful. So,
like, maybe if you were really high or something.
There's a blonde white girl who has an Asian accent, and it's really horrible Asian accent, and it's really annoying, and I don't even remember where the fucking baby comes from, but there's this thing called the Wonton Baby, right? And it's this weird prosthetic baby.
Sounds so delicious.
That looks like Elvis, because I believe it's supposed to be like
because Elvis
kid
came and had sex with her mom.
Yeah.
It's like a brothel Chinese food
But the
place.
baby goes around killing people and then masturbating with its umbilical cord. Like, it's got a huge dick. I don't know. It's the baby looks really creepy.
This is what people that don't know you, they think that you like this kind of thing, or this is what you would make.
This is not what I would make. But it was bad. Yeah. Like, we couldn't get through it, and we got through a lot of movies. One of which was The Wraith. It's horrible.
I don't know how this came up on a list, and then we were at a used movie store, and I was like, oh my god, The Wraith.
And, like, it when you kind of like it, it's like a campy 80s movie, and basically anything that had mild production from the 80s was good.
It has Charlie Sheen in it, but we should have known because it has Randy Quaid and he is poison.
And you know who else is in it? The forehead.
Yeah, Clint Howard.
Clint Howard. Clint Howard's in this.
He's part of a bad gang.
He looks like the guy from Eraserhead.
Yeah.
He's a nerd. Essentially, this is a movie about a guy who I believe was killed by, a gang of ruffians who like doing drag races. So he came back as this wraith who, for some bizarre reason, has like all these like bionic parts. Like, he's got like leg braces and arm braces that come off after he kills people.
The people who wronged him.
And he's got like, he's got a car that looks like the Knight Rider car, and he drives all fast and races them.
It does have the same kind of bad people as like they're high school people, the bad gang, and just like in Christine, they're so horrible, and you're like, you would never get away with this. You could never be at school and like stab people.
Yeah, it was just bad.
You can't be 30 in a high school senior.
The best part of it was Clint Howard. He's always funny to look at. Randy Quaid is in it? Oh yeah, he's the sheriff.
He's not even.
There's a bunch of like
role.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like well-known actors in this movie, and it's just like, what the fuck? Like, how did this even come together?
Yeah, you'd only want to.
But it's not.
Who is even this guy with a crop top?
I don't remember.
Oh, there's in the bad gang. There's some guys that are like drinking weird green stuff that's making them crazy.
Oh, they're drinking gasoline and stuff.
They're hicks, but they wear like makeup. that part's strange.
It's weird.
It doesn't have enough to make it.
And again, we're probably making all these movies seem much better than they actually are, and the descriptions that we're giving sounds more entertaining.
Remember, that's like a tiny bite-sized piece of like an hour or something movie.
Yeah. All right, and last but not least, the worst movie of the year. This thing was unbearable and had no redeeming value that I could imagine. It's called The Ginger Dead Man, and we bought it because Gary Busey was in it, and he's the voice.
Oh no, yeah, and he's in it for a second.
Yeah, he's in it for a second, and he's the voice of the Gingerbread Man, and essentially, the story is Gary Busey's a crazy person, and he decided to take this role in this movie. And Gary Busey's a crazy person, and he murders this girl's family in like some sort of bakery, and then he gets killed, and somehow I think his blood gets into the batter or something, and they make a gingerbread man, and he comes out. It's very like, God, it tries to be like 80s camp, like Munchies, or, you know, I don't remember much about this movie. It was fucking horrible. Like, you expect a movie like this to at least have, like,
there's like
funny
a rich
moments.
girl and a dad, and they're gonna open a bakery.
It all took place. It like 90% of the movie took place in like a small little warehouse, and
that's supposed to be like the kitchen.
Yeah, and they were just stuck in there.
And it's like just her running this huge kitchen. It makes
you never really see the gingerbread man get out and do much. Like he kills people, but there's not much gore. He doesn't do anything unique. It was just boring. I think it ended quick though. It felt like it was only like an hour
These
long.
are also things that maybe if we were like sitting on the couch and doing something else while we were watching it, but you have to remember we're laying here in bed, we're giving it our undivided attention. It's gotta be better than terrible.
The sad thing is it came in a pack with the Ginger Dead Man 2 and 3 in it, and I don't think that's ever
never
gonna happen.
Not unless we
this is the type of movie that I imagine like a bunch of like 15, 16-year-old kids who smoke a lot of weed like to rent and then think is funny.
Yeah.
So if you fit that, you watch this movie. This is a good one.
Yeah, this might be right up your dumb alley.
Also watch The Wraith. I'm sure if we were high, it would have been much more entertaining. Anyway, those are our movies of the year, and I hope you got something from those because we're always on the lookout for odd and interesting movies to watch before we go to sleep. Last night we watched Metropolis, and tonight we are watching. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Mahakal.
Mahakal.
The Monster.
The Monster.
It's like a Bollywood Freddy. There's a lot of dancing. It's very PG.
So far, I would say that it is quite watchable.
Yeah.
The ladies are pretty curvy.
Yeah, they're pretty.
There's a lot of
the guys,
dancing.
Not very handsome.
Lots of dancing. This is so far one of the most tame
weird,
horror movies I've ever seen.
There's a weird like Michael Jackson guy.
He's funny. But yeah, I mean, maybe this will make next year's thing.
Is that a double?
What?
A weird Michael Jackson guy.
No. Michael Jackson is a guy. Alright, that's all. I don't even know. This movie, this thing is way too long.
Okay, and it is...
What time is it?
5:13 a.m. This is just about the time that we start watching, and then we go to bed by 6.
So if... I'm not tweeting this. This is going to be for your followers, so I like to keep the riffraff out of this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you follow Danielle, which you obviously do if you're watching this, you can see what movies we're watching, and then you can maybe comment about what you think about them, and maybe we'll post some funny clips. You know, put it down in the comments.
Subscribe.
Put it down in the comments. I give a shout out to everybody who subscribes. on the next.
I say fuck you to the haters.
If we hit 1,000 subscribers in the next week, we're gonna upload a special video just for you out there who want to see the one thing.
And fuck all the haters.
Fuck all the haters. And
eat a shit.
And that's all. Bye.